a viral video circulating on social media has sparked outrage and debate about the conditions and privileges for prisoners in South Africa. A Zimbabwean national remanded at Goodwood Correctional Centre in Cape Town for kidnapping allegations brags about the comfort of life behind bars. He claims to have access to free food, electricity and education, and also the ability to use a cell phone to post content on social media. And this has raised questions around the effectiveness of rehabilitation programs, security and even discipline within our correctional facilities. For more on this story, we are joined by the president of the South African Prisoners Organization for Human Rights, Mr. Miles Budu. Mr. Budu, good morning to you and welcome to the AM Report.
Good morning for having me, even though my view here is not one of the best. Nevertheless, let's rock and roll.
No, it's all good. We're going to be able to see you and we can hear you clearly, which is great. I wanted to start with this, Mr. Budu. I don't know if you've seen the video, but you certainly will be able to hear the audio. If our viewers haven't seen it, here it is. Take a look.
Yeah, hello haters, hello haters. You put us in prison and you think we are suffering. No, my brother, we are doing extremely fine. Look how happy we are. This morning we had breakfast, and in the afternoon we had lunch, and we had supper, and we are about to have dinner, my brother. We are doing extremely fine. We are not even suffering at all. We are happy. And look here, we are not even paying rent.
No.
We are not buying electricity.
No.
Nothing, my brother. We don't even cook food. They give us food for free. We don't even cook. Yeah, the difference is the same, my brother. No, we are not. No, my brother. We don't need toiletries. We give for free. And the education is going to be free.
Well, there you have it, Mr. Budu. I don't know if you've seen that video, but you've certainly heard the audio now. Your reaction is seeing and hearing what that inmate has to say.
Well, it is for the first time after 35 years after my imprisonment that I'm so terrified, I'm so shaking, and I'm afraid that the worst is yet to come. And that is besides the fact that this is said by, I wouldn't be surprised if this is an undocumented foreign national from Zimbabwe. I mean, we know what's happening in Zimbabwean prisons. This is not Zimbabwe. And we must fight that this must never become Zimbabwe. I mean, the fact is, this happens when a Department of Correctional Services has ran out of ideas. The Department of Correctional Services has abandoned their mandate many years ago to make sure that this does not even become a story, because it is the biggest story for today and it is factual. And I can assure you that illegal, undocumented Zimbabwean national has been set up by locals to say whatever he wants to say because he's not from here. And they are protesting. They want attention. And this is the only way how they got the attention. This is headline news, and the Department of Correctional Services has been running around. They've sent out their best emergency support team to go throughout the country, to go and kick bones, take cell phones, and that is exacerbating, and it's going to make prisoners, even those who are sentenced, very angry, and this might be something that can explode in our face.
But can we admit that we do have a problem of discipline within our correctional centers, right? And that's obviously going to be an issue. You've got someone who's wearing headphones, is recording with their phone, able to post on social media from within the Goodwood Correctional Center. And this is, of course, after the explosive revelation of the Thabo Bester saga, for instance, where it's alleged that he was running businesses with a laptop from inside the Mangaung Correctional Facility. So is there a big issue of discipline and even corruption in our correctional facilities? And is it dealt with sufficiently, in your view?
Look, where I'm sitting, I will ask you with tears in my eyes, why for the past almost 30 years plus, the Department of Correctional Services has never allowed us to have this working and procedural agreement with them so that we as an organization stop this from outside and from inside. They won't be able to stop it. They are interested in their month-end check and the perks that comes with the package to being a correctional services officer that will wear a brown uniform, shiny shoes, eat prison food, and handle and maintain the correctional services as a glorified Bantustan. I mean, we are one of these days they're going to meet the Minister of Correctional Services, and we're going to plead with him. We're going to go down on our knees that he let us go into a recognition and procedural agreement as a prisoners and ex-prisoners organization, and go and get political parties that are interested to stop this nonsense in our prisons, to get in there and turn the tide.
Yeah. You're quoted in a piece in February this year where you say, people who say that SA prisons are hotels have never been to a prison or a hotel. I imagine that when people watch that video that I just showed right now, they may be concerned about whether or not that's true. At the same time, though, yesterday we were in conversation with the new Minister for Correctional Services, Dr. Pieter Groenewald, and one of the things he's talked about is the need for the protection of human rights of inmates. You know, there's of course been the Commission for Gender Equality, for instance, that's raised issues around sexual assault being on the rise in our prison facilities. I think it was 1,800 cases that were reported, and I say that emphatically reported, last year alone in our correctional facilities. So which one is it? And if you were the Minister of Correctional Services right now, what would your priority then be to deal with discipline and human rights within our correctional facilities?
I would let the correctional officers organize themselves as human beings and as workers in their own little corner, and then go to their unions and tell their unions what needs to be done in order for them as members to do the right thing. I would also advise the minister to allow prisoners to go in their own corners and organize them and do away with the gangster culture, so that they come and tell organizations like us and the Department of Correctional Services what needs to be done collectively to make sure that when you are there, you are not going to be allowed to further your criminal activities and attitude and behavior. You are going to be turned into a productive, useful and law-abiding citizen by letting you go to work in the morning, earn a stipend, pay for your boarding and lodging, put money away for your family in a form of a grant, where your mother and your father that is taking care of your children, that they get a grant so that when you come out of prison, the fires are still burning and you are not going to fall back into the criminal justice net. There's a lot of things that should have been done in the past 30 years. But I'm telling you, the reason why it never happened is this political deployees who will tell you that, Miles, listen here, we are here to enjoy ourselves. It is payback time, and these criminals deserve what they get. And I hope the new Minister, Pieter Groenewald, are going to listen to us, because we've got stacks and stacks of proposals that can be implemented, monitored, evaluated. We do not condone what is happening in our prisons. And that particular Zimbabwean must be rounded up, and he must tell us who set him up to say all those things, because that was also a strategy on the other side to get the attention which the prisoners are now enjoying, both sentenced and unsentenced prisoners. In the past, gangsters used to attack correctional officers to get this kind of attention. But I see the strategy has changed. It is for real what is happening there. And of course, all of us need to do something about this. It has gone too little, too far. And the correctional officers who are complacent and assist this road to go on must be identified, must be rounded up, must be nailed, and they must also be jailed.
All right. Well, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Of course, Mr. Miles Boodoo there, speaking to us from the SAPOHR, as he shares those views on that video that's been going viral, and we'll get response as well from the Department of Correctional Services. All right.